activists, but I can't even imagine what the courage it takes in Uganda to do what David Kato did and Pepe, and just unbelievable. So hats off, and just unbelievable courage and yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. We're going to have a panel discussion right now to talk a little bit more about this. I'm going to call everybody up from different organizations. Davis Hammett from Planting Peace Equality House, welcome. All the way from Chiquita, Kansas. Pepe Julian Anjima, come on back up. Kim Hunt, Affinity Community Services. Andy Thayer, Gay Liberation Network. John Adamola, the Chicago LGBT Asylum Support Program. And Jenny Ansay from Northern Illinois Justice for Our Neighbors.
Nicely done.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you. Everybody's played a major role, a different role, and it's expanding and evolving as we deal with homophobia in Africa and Russia and everywhere in the world, really, because of the religious right. And I'll start with Pepe. What can we do here in America, in your view, to assist? What's the best way American organizations can help assist people for their fight for equality in Uganda and elsewhere in Africa?
Thank you, Wayne. People ask that question a lot, and from my experience, I don't know if they ask it really to want to do something or not, because but what can be done is, one thing that I mentioned is continuous consultation with activists on the ground, be it in Uganda, be it in Nigeria, be it anywhere. The people on the ground are the ones who end up bearing, whatever effects of your actions are. Moral support is very important. Most of us are connected through Facebook, Twitter, and so on, and we have emails and phone numbers. Someone just calling to find out how you're doing. Also, on our side, just reaching out and saying, I need this kind of assistance. I just need to talk. That is very important, because we are burning out, like super burning out. Fundraising. We need funds for the work that we do. My organization is not registered, so we do not have legal status. And in most cases, some funders use it as, an excuse not to fund us, but also some have come through, to give us like 10,000, 5,000, but that is like, it's a drop in the ocean for the work that we do. So more funding is needed. We also, there are people who cannot live in their country anymore. They need to leave. We need to find ways of systematically doing that, because we've seen different people fundraising for different LGBT people or quote-unquote LGBT people, and we don't see like where the money is going, or we don't see where they're actually taking our people for that kind of safety that we say they're taking them for. So it's important for us to have those connections with people in the international community to know that if we have someone who's facing danger to that point that they cannot live in the country, who can I call and will actually be able to assist? Something that is usually at the fingertips of most of our international partners is asylum and cutting aid, right? Like those seem to be the easiest thing to do, but it's encouraging people to leave is sort of weakening the manpower, the human resource for the work that we are doing back home. So finding ways, we can find ways of people being safe in the country, only that it needs, it needs money. It needs money for us to get psychosocial support for them. It needs money to find a house, all those things. And also when it comes to sanctions, they need to be specific and targeted in ways that it doesn't bounce off back to affect us. So those are some of the things.
What would be a bad sanction? What would we do wrong here to create unintended consequences? Is there an example of that, what's happened in the past, or what we shouldn't do? Should we be very mindful of it within our own activism?
I think still it goes back to the issue about consultations, because we have structures, we have organizations that are already carrying out work. But the last, I think, I haven't seen it so much this year, but between 2009 and 2014, we saw numerous online crowdsourcing and whatever, fundraising or evacuation methods put out there online for people to leave the country, or claims that money was being sent to the existing organizations to support people. That did not work out very well. There are people who were given like $50 to go to Kenya. Kenya is just like Uganda. Is that really moving someone to safety? So that was one thing that...
it's like going from Mississippi to Alabama.
That's one of them.
So my next question is for Jenny and Say. What are some supporting people with their legal efforts to come and escape some of these countries where there is an incredible amount of homophobia and danger? Talk about your efforts and what we should know about that.
Well, what we do is for people who are actually already here. So there are people who have already decided that they needed to leave their country of origin. Most of the people that we serve right now are from Nigeria and also Jamaica, actually, and we get them referred to us by actually John's organization, CLASP. So they sort of take care of the immediate needs, the housing, the shelter, and stuff like that. And so when we see them, we're just trying to figure out how to get them to be allowed to stay here legally. And that is usually, well, in all the cases that I have are asylum cases. The immigration system in the United States is very broken. It's very racist. It's very problematic. And it's very tricky. If you don't know what you're doing, you can really mess it up for yourself. You need to file your application within 1 year of coming to the United States. If you don't do that, it's problematic. Once you file your application, you're allowed to eventually file for a work permit after 6 months. So you're like living here, not working, and doing anything for 6 months. And that's also, yeah, exactly. How do you survive? That's a great question. It's really difficult, and that's why we need organizations like CLASP or similar, which also need a lot of money and a lot more resources to help people survive, because For example, right now, my longest pending asylum case was filed in February of 2014. That means that the person has been waiting since February 2014 for their interview. And, once you get your interview, you also don't necessarily find out right away what your decision is going to be. It can take 6 months, a year, whatever after that. And by that point, you're probably already working or have your work permit, but it's still this, tense situation, you're in limbo. You don't know what's going on, and you're already here. It's a very stressful situation. So we definitely need better systems, better laws, more officers at the asylum office. It's a very political issue too right now. There have been a lot of backlogs and delays for no reason, and it's very arbitrary too. So kind of sometimes depends on what officer you get to interview you, what kind of day they're having if they believe you. One of the big issues in these LGBT asylum cases is that people are just like, oh, they just wanted to leave Nigeria, Uganda, whatever. They're just pretending they're gay. They're not really gay. It's those sort of ideas to permeate the system. And so what we try to do is we provide them with competent representation from the beginning so that they don't have inconsistencies in their stories, which is also actually really normal for survivors of trauma. And I feel like asylum officers or immigration judges should know that and not just be since the details don't add up exactly 100%, that's it's normal with PTSD, for example. But we try to help provide with competent representation from the beginning of their legal case so that they don't have these issues going forward, and we help them manage it. We meet the deadline so they can get their work permits in a timely fashion. We change the address so they get their notifications and stuff like that, and basically just prepare cases to move forward.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about immigration. Donald Trump is on the case,
yeah,
so we're going to be in good shape soon. So our next question, John Adamola from the Chicago LGBT Asylum Support Program. You've taken in people who have been seeking asylum, and you've actually housed them, from what I understand. Is that correct? Talk about that experience and what you would need in resources, or what we would need both as a city, maybe, or country for that matter. How short are we in resources? What's the experience like taking people in, the challenges you face?
The first guy I housed was actually here already legally. He had a work permit. He was a student. He dropped out and had to face his life as a gay man. And he was about losing his accommodation. And he told me that he was moving to shelter. So if I was my ex just left, and I had 2 bedrooms vacant in the house, and I invited him over. Instead of going to the shelter, come over. And after him, another person came, and after the second person was the first asylum seeker who came in. And he came in trying to escape being forced into marriage in Nigeria, as we have in his story. He went to his uncle in St. Louis, and the pressure started mounting there, and a friend introduced him to me, and he moved to Chicago, and we were just 2 in the house. But after him came a flood of asylum seekers. What led to the flood was the law in Nigeria, the law in Uganda. I've not housed anybody from Uganda, but I'm connected with some of them, even here in the country. We talk regularly. Those of them in New York, and 2 of them were refugees here. Asylum seeking in US is a slow process, as Jenny already said. And it's not just slow, it's a dehumanizing process. Looking at the category of the people who are here seeking asylum, some of them I've housed in my house. I've housed a lawyer. I've housed a number of people who are out there working on HIV AIDS projects in Nigeria. I've housed an architect, and I know at least whom I did not house, but who are here in US from Nigeria, 2 medical doctors. young people. And each time I think about them, my mind goes back to slave trade. Slave trade did not import old, dying people, but able-bodied people who would be resourceful to their society were once captured and brought to this country and to other European countries to develop those places. Unfortunately, we're still dealing with racism today. And blacks cannot really, even if we claim to be, I'm an American, if I claim to be an American, I still know there's limitation to how I can grow. So what do we really need to support these people, the asylum seekers, unfortunately, who had to leave their countries and be here? Well, a welcome ground, a welcome place, where they will be assured of protection and equality. Where they will be assured of protection and equality. As someone who houses asylum seekers, I try my best to make sure that they feel they have a house. I give each person a key. And if they go out sometimes, as they do, and forget their keys, I say, I give you that key so that you know you have a place. So when you're going out, you go with your key. When you're coming back, you come back and use your key. Don't wake anybody up if you are late. Just use your key. This is your place too. Accommodation is a big problem facing all of us doing this job in US. How do we accommodate asylum seekers? Currently, I have 3 people in my house. As of last month, I would say I have 3.5. Because the one who came before the last person now had his uncle's place to stay. At the same time, the place isn't that conducive for him. So if he spends 2 days with us and I drive him out to go back and face the fire, he will still come back. So I said 3.5. Now I will say 4 because I have another 0.5. But thank God for the person who houses this one too. Accommodation is a big problem. We thank Namaste Project who provided us with space for 4 people. So we were able to graduate 4 people from my house. And actually when that was happening, my hope was that it would just be no more because I'm getting married July 25th and I would have loved some privacy with my man, so that if we want to groan aloud, we could do. If we want to, of course, kiss even in the kitchen, we could do. Of course, no one is stopping us from kissing in the kitchen. But just to have some privacy. But we can't claim that until everyone is settled. And I don't know how long that will last. So accommodation. In Boston, for example, the LGBT community, the welcoming churches, individuals do open their homes. And I know we've made appeals on that ground, but we've not been very lucky. I want to thank Matt Smith, who at least twice opened his house when I did recommend, and he always come forward to say, yes, I could do this. And Bishop Eric Soap is also here, who has done the same thing. But we need more people. We need more people. And even if that is not possible, can we have people who will be able to contribute to renting an extra apartment? I have about 4 people online who want to come. Dennis forwarded email to me not too long ago, and then the guy who introduced also contacted me, and it was like, wow, we try to finish this rice. Then we're shaking the grains back into the plate, as the Yoruba proverb would say. How do we end this? Accommodation is a key thing, or one of the key things we need. And what of sustenance? Those who live in my house will live principally on my salary. It's my salary. We receive every other month. Class help us pay water, switch, and whatever bill, which will be about 100 or something. But on a monthly basis, I wouldn't want to say how much. About $400 or $500 go into the maintenance of the people who live with me. The same thing goes for those who live in. So we need funds. And if you want to make a donation, you can always direct it to United Methodist Church, Broadway, here. We will receive it. And if you write your check and give it to me, I will deliver it. If you give me cash, I will deliver it. So I'll leave it at those two for now. But we need more things. I hope time will permit us.
Thank you. We're going to be taking questions from the audience as well. You can see the microphone. Please, if you have something you would like to ask, there's the microphone. Stand up and start going over there right now. Let's turn to the Chicago activists, Andy Thayer and Kim Hunt. What are you? You all have been very, especially for a city organization, very active in the international arena. What are some strategies you've employed? What have you learned from it? And also, and then we'll turn to you and what are your perspectives on this issue as well? Andy.
Well, I think there's international activism that can be done well, and unfortunately there's international activism that can be done very, very poorly. And we've seen mostly the latter from United States activists to the detriment of the people on the ground. For those who don't know, I've made 3 trips to Russia to participate in gay rights demonstrations as well as some solidarity delegations down to Honduras. And there's 2 principles that I think we have to use in approaching the work. First of all is to respect the leadership on the ground. You don't have to agree with the leadership on the ground, but you have to respect their leadership, and ultimately, if you have a disagreement, follow their lead. And it seems, should be so basic that this is followed, but so often, as we saw with the Boycott Russian Vodka campaign, for example, there was little or no consultation with the Russian LGBT activists who've been being beaten and arrested on the ground for many years before that. And it really blew up in people's faces.